I have never personally seen something like this before. This is very interesting, and this is just honestly, I don't know how I feel about this. We're gonna break this down. This girl gets kicked out of the church for cheating. Her church membership is literally terminated, and they gave her tithes back to make a situation even worse. They gave her money back that she recently tithed to the church, and they did all of that in a letter that was written to her. Let's break this letter down together and let's talk about it. So this letter was from the Islandton Church of God of Prophecy, and this was in 2022, so it was a little while back, but it just popped up on my feed, and I saw it, and I was like, what? I've never seen something like this before. Like, churches actually get rid of people by letter? Like, not only that, churches are actually, like, telling people they can't come to this church anymore? Like, when did the church become, like, Scientology, where it's like this, I don't know, secret society that you have to be sworn into? Like, I thought the church was a public place for the public community. Okay, so let's hear what it says. It says, Dear Brooke, that is the name of the member here. Dear Brooke, this letter is to inform you that it was unanimously decided in our February 9th business conference that your membership in our local church should be terminated. Since you refused to accept the letter that we sent you in November that outlined the reasons for this action, I will briefly review them here. Okay, so I skimmed this letter before I decided to do this with you guys here, but I didn't read it intently like I did just now. I didn't know, I didn't know that they attempted they attempted to give her a letter months ago that she didn't accept. Now, it doesn't really say how she didn't accept it. I don't know if she literally told him, I'm not accepting this, or if they try to mail it to her and then she just claims she never got it. I don't know. It's not clear here. But let's review some of the reasons. There's a lot here, 3, and they're pretty lengthy. Let's hear some of the reasons that she was terminated from this church. Okay, so the first one says, you initiated the separation in your marriage to Josh without good cause, stating that you wanted to begin a relationship with another man. It seems you have no desire to keep your family together, and this has caused a great deal of hurt to you, your husband, your children, and many others. This is being unfaithful to the marriage vow that you took before God. Now, that is a little messy. It's a little petty. But like I said, not only do I not know how I feel about churches terminating people's memberships, but this is very, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm going to just say this because I don't know what's to come in the other reasons, but I'm going to just say this now while it's on my heart. This seems very holier than thou. Because to kick someone out, to kick a member out of your church for behaving and acting in these kinds of acts, it's like, how many other people are sitting in the church who are, divorcees or divorcees, if you will? How many other people are in the church from broken families? Like, you don't have to come from a perfect family, and you don't even have to have a perfect marriage to attend church. The church actually should be something that is like fostering good relationships and good marriages, and there should be auxiliaries and things that are involved to help that. And if and her desire to leave her marriage to go with another man, it's not like that's not common in a lot of situations. But what I feel that the church should have done in that place, instead of terminating her membership, was sitting down with them and trying to, see where is this all coming from? Like, what is it about this other guy? I remember there were times in churches where the pastor used to actually sit down and counsel these people. So I know he said you initiated the separation in your marriage and it had no good cause, because I guess the reason was because she wanted to be with another man. It's not good cause for her to, leave her relationship and her family behind. I didn't know there were kids involved in this. So it is hurtful, but this seems like she needs something more like counseling, because something like this, yeah, she may run into the arms of another man, but she also ran away from the church, and there might not be a chance that she'll ever step back into another church again. Let's see what this next one said. You have continued to post many unchristian and even indecent pictures and messages on various social media sites over the past many months. You have also been very negative and critical of many of our church family, I believe, to try and take the attention off of your real needs, which you deny. Now, I don't really know what these real needs are that she's saying, that this pastor is mentioning to her. Like I said, some of these things aren't clear, but about her posting unchristian like content on her social media platforms, like I said, she's a member of the church. And as a shepherd of the home, if you will, as a pastor, you should be helping her and teaching her. And even like I'm saying, like, I understand if she was like a praise and worship leader, if she was even maybe preaching, delivering a word, running women's Bible study, whatever the case may be, then maybe you might say, hey, you got a lot going on in your life right now. I don't think that maybe you might want to be setting an example for people, but you're definitely in a position. And I think that she is definitely in a position where she can learn. And I know he's saying you're denying it, but just from what he's writing, it doesn't really seem like, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know this pastor, I don't really know, but just only off of what I'm reading and what I'm seeing, it just feels like he wasn't a pastor that she could have talked to. It doesn't really seem like he's a pastor that really has an open mind, rather kind of just a chastising one, because like I said, I just can't see members getting kicked out. Like, you're a member, so you mean to say that, like, okay, your membership is not there, can she come as a guest? Is she not welcome to the church? Like I said, I thought the church was a public place for the public community, and it just seems like church people and sometimes the church only wants typical church people to be in the church, because like a lot of people are saying, church is becoming very cliquey. You know what I mean? There's a lot of cliques in the church, and there's a lot of tradition. So it's like, is the church really the church, or is just the church just a place where a lot of people just convene once a week because it's just something they've always done, and it's a place where they get to hang out with their cliques and their friends and kind of just go through the flow and go through the traditions of men. You know what I mean? So what really is it? That's my take on that one. Let's hear what this last one is. You have refused counsel or advice from your husband, your pastor, and many of your close church family who really care for you and have tried to help you. Brooke, contrary to what you try to convince us, you are really not in a very good place right now. Okay, so might have spoken too soon, but those messages still apply from what I said. But even on this one, you have refused counsel or advice from your husband, your pastor, and many of the close church family. So she was in a position where she didn't want to receive the counsel. But I'm still going to go back to my statement where I'm saying I do not think that this is something, or that these were people that she felt she can talk to, because it was a unanimous decision, which was brought up in the beginning of this letter in a business meeting. So it's like, how many people are talking about me behind my back? You know what I mean? There's always multiple sides to a story, and we're only getting one side, but to refuse the counsel, like I said, I don't think that maybe she trusted these people to take counsel from them. Maybe, and that's why I said it was holier than thou, because we're putting all this attention on this one person's sin, if you will, this one person's behavior, but it's not like everybody else in that church was 100% perfect. It's not like everybody else in the congregation was without sin. So it's seeming like, for something like this to be a thing, that it is definitely targeted. Let's see how they closed it out. Brooke, taking this action was not an easy thing for the church to do. There have been many prayers said for you and your family over this past year, plus. There was a great deal of sadness in our meeting over having to do this. You and your family have been a very important part of our church for many years, and I know that we still love each of you very much. We are hoping that God will show you his will in all this, and that you will also desire to do his will. Please let us know if that happens. Sincerely, and then the pastor, Bernie Levesque, I believe. And then note at the bottom, we all felt it best to return the tithe check you recently gave to Jeanette. And that tithe check was a $500 check that she gave to the church. But I was interested to see how he closed that out. The last thing when he said, there's a lot of prayers going out. We're sorry to do this. It hurt. And I don't like when people say that, because it's like, honestly, bro, if it really hurt that bad, and if it pains me to do this, no one puts themselves through pain, bro. If it really hurt that bad, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. So it didn't hurt that bad. Save the pleasantries for somebody else. But he mentioned that we're praying for you, and all these prayers went out, and we hope that God will reveal this to you. And what I thought about when I read that sentence was that what a lot of people don't realize is sometimes the God that we're saying we want people to know, the God that we're saying that we want revealed to people so that way they can have a better understanding, sometimes that's the God that they're seeing inside of us, because the Spirit of God dwells on the inside. But if we're not nourishing it, we're not activating it, we're not actually walking in that spirit day in and day out, really trying to, work on ourselves, we're not going to be the example that people need. So, in that moment, let me explain to you what I mean. In that moment of all of this stuff happening, whether she refused the counsel, no matter what the church should have done besides saying you're no good, you need to figure yourself out before you can be a member here, because that's pretty much what they said. What the church should have done, in my honest opinion, was wait with her. Wait it out. Long suffering. Yes, it was probably frustrating to deal with that. Yes, it was probably upsetting to see everything that she was causing, the hurt and the pain of her family, her kids, her husband, people in the church that felt for their marriage and all that stuff like that. But that's one of the fruits of the Spirit, is long suffering. It's not to just cut off. That's the world ideology. That's worldly logic. I'm going to just cut off. I'm going to just cut off. You need to go. What? What? If the church don't want me, who will? It's like you're throwing them into the lion's den because you're acting as if they're not perfect or good enough to be in your church. Bro, let me tell you this thing right here. One last thing. None of us are good enough to be in the house of God. None of us are worthy enough to even be before his presence. But if it was up to us, we'd be rotting away right now. But thank God for Jesus Christ and that sacrifice that was made, that makes each and every one of us worthy enough to be reconciled with him once again in heaven. But that's all I got for you guys on this one, man. A lot of things unpacked in this letter, man. It was interesting, a little bit of funny stuff, you know what I mean? Some adultery going on in the church and some things happening. And I mean, hey, drama happens everywhere, man. But the church is where we're supposed to be able to fix this stuff out. Not push people away and throw them into the lion's den so they can keep furthermore hurting themselves and taking themselves down destruction. That's what the enemy wants. He wanted you to throw her away so he can have her where he wants her to be. But the church, man, we got to be more of a protecting place for our people and for the people of God and for everybody here in the world, actually, because the church should be a place where people can come and experience God like they've never experienced him before. But that's all I got for you guys on this one, man. I appreciate it if you guys stayed this long as always. To the next one, I'm out.